Hey friends, thanks for joining me on another weekly Money Girl episode. My name is Laura Adams. I'm a personal finance expert and author of several books, including Debt-Free Blueprint, How to Get Out of Debt and Build a Financial Life You Love, and my most recent title, Money Smart Solopreneur, a personal finance system for freelancers, entrepreneurs, and side hustlers. Money Smart Solopreneur was a #1 Amazon new release, and it's available as a paperback, ebook, and audiobook. Since 2008, I've been here bringing you personal finance and small business tips that boost your financial wisdom, wellness, and security. I cover a range of topics and also interview subject matter experts and interesting folks from time to time. I'd love to hear from you if you're enjoying the show or have used it to uplevel your finances in any way. In fact, a recent review on Apple Podcasts is from Level Up, who says, very approachable and applicable insights into creating and expanding wealth, as well as dipping your toe into the choppy seas of keeping track of your dollars and cents. Thank you so much, Level Up. I appreciate your kind words. And I hope you'll also participate by leaving a review, subscribing, and sending your money questions or comments. One way to do that is leaving a message at 302-364-0308, or you can visit lauradadams.com to use my email contact page. And while you're there, learn more about my work, books, and debt and credit courses. Today, I want to talk about Roth IRAs because lately I've been thinking a lot about how my various retirement accounts are going to affect my future income and specifically the taxes I'll have to pay. That's because my investments are spread among the 3 basic account types. There are taxable brokerages, tax deferred, or those traditional retirement accounts that we all know, the traditional IRAs, traditional 401ks, etc., and tax-free or Roth retirement accounts. Now, since I'm self-employed and I always have a pretty hefty tax bill, I've enjoyed making deductible SEP IRA contributions that really reduce my taxable income significantly, and I've been doing that for many, many years. However, as that tax-deferred account grows, it's a reminder that I am simply delaying an inevitable tax bill. When I withdraw, either voluntarily or eventually get forced to take required minimum distributions, RMDs, from my tax-deferred accounts, those taxes are going to catch up with me. Well, that is, unless I make some strategic moves ahead of time. So that's what this show is going to be about. And while it won't be true for everyone listening, I believe my income tax rate will likely be higher in the future than it is today. That's because I'll have fewer tax deductions and will likely continue earning money well into my retired years. So instead of keeping most of my retirement funds in a tax-deferred bucket, namely a traditional IRA, I plan to shift most of it, not all of it, but most of it, to a Roth IRA over multiple years down the road. And that's the case, even though I'm technically too quote unquote rich to qualify for Roth IRA contributions. Now, if you're wondering, well, Laura, how is that possible? Or maybe you want to boost your own Roth account, stay with me. This show will explain Roth IRA benefits, rules, and most importantly, ways to boost a Roth IRA even if you're like me and are not eligible for one. First, let's start with a quick Roth IRA review. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you probably know that it's a retirement account for individuals, and it requires non-deductible or after-tax contributions. But the tax goodness comes in the future, in retirement, because it allows tax-free withdrawals if you've owned the account for at least 5 years and are over age 59 and a half. Plus, you can withdraw your original Roth IRA contributions before age 59 and a half, penalty-free, because they were previously taxed. However, taking earnings from a Roth IRA would be subject to income tax, plus an additional 10% penalty if you're younger than 59 and a half. So that means you get a lot of flexibility with a Roth IRA that just isn't possible with other retirement accounts. For 2023, the maximum IRA contribution is $6,500 or $7,500 if you're over age 50. And you can make IRA contributions if you have earned income, no matter your age, and that's up to your tax filing deadline for the prior year. Since a Roth IRA offers many excellent benefits, the rules were created to shut out high earners. So if you exceed an annual threshold, you're considered to, quote, rich and become ineligible for regular front door contributions. And by front door, I mean directly contributing to a Roth IRA using an after-tax source, such as pulling money from your checking or your savings account. For 2023, the Roth IRA income cutoff for singles happens when you have modified adjusted gross income of $153,000 or above, and married couples filing joint taxes cannot contribute to a Roth IRA when their household modified adjusted gross income is $228,000 or above. But stick with me because I'm going to explain ways to get around those income thresholds and legally boost your Roth funds anyway. Note that if you have a Roth at work, like a Roth 401k or 403b, those income limits I just mentioned do not apply. There are no income thresholds to qualify for a Roth at work, which is why I always encourage you to use it for all or a portion of your retirement contributions when it's available from your employer. The long-term tax benefits of a Roth are just too darn good to pass up. So I mentioned that I plan on shifting much of my traditional retirement money to a Roth IRA. Let me explain. If you're wondering why I'm so enthusiastic about boosting my Roth, let me explain the benefits. A huge tax advantage of a Roth is that, unlike traditional retirement accounts, they have no RMDs at any age. You can take tax-free money out as needed or just let it grow tax-free for you or your heirs. That could ultimately save a bundle in taxes, especially if the account value grows substantially over the long term. By eliminating those RMDs, you, not the IRS, have control over when and how much to take out of your account in retirement. Plus, tax-free income allows you to keep and spend more of that hard-earned money in retirement when you likely need or want every penny, instead of having to hand over a chunk of it to the government. For example, if you're single with a taxable income of $80,000 for 2023, you're in the 22% tax bracket. But if you're a great saver and accumulate a healthy nest egg, your voluntary or required minimum distributions, starting at age 73 or it's going up to 75 starting in 2033, they could be $100,000, pushing you into the 24% tax bracket. Depending on the size of your traditional retirement accounts, RMDs for super savers could be hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. That means paying lots of income tax at your highest marginal tax rate for those RMDs, plus any other income, like pensions and annuities that you may have. Additionally, having more taxable income strains your benefits in retirement because it may trigger taxes on most of your Social Security income and even increase your monthly Medicare costs. Even if your income in retirement won't be higher than today, you might strongly believe tax rates for all Americans will rise in the future. Or perhaps you don't want the hassle of paying income taxes to the federal and state governments, depending on where you live, on that future retirement income. Those situations or beliefs are reasons to favor putting as much money as possible into tax-free Roth accounts. However, if you expect your retirement tax rate to be lower, you're certain about that, using a Roth may not be wise because you'd pay more taxes today than in the future. While you can't control the financial markets, you can manage your tax bill with some sound strategies and planning. So what can you do if you want to make Roth contributions, but you don't have a Roth retirement plan at work? Or maybe you're self-employed and you earn too much to make those front door Roth IRA contributions. Well, let's review 3 legal ways to boost a Roth IRA. Number one is max out a Roth IRA when you qualify. If your income is below the 2023 Roth IRA thresholds that I mentioned, that modified adjusted gross income of $153,000 for singles or $228,000 for married joint tax filers, you can partially or fully max one out. Now, I say partially because there is a phase-out range below the thresholds when you can contribute less than the maximum. The 2023 Roth IRA income limits are higher now than they were in previous years. So look at it or consult with a tax professional toward the end of the year. If you just assume that you're ineligible, that could mean missing a really nice Roth opportunity. And remember that if your income dips for any reason, like getting laid off, not receiving a bonus, or having a less profitable business or side gig, you might qualify for a Roth IRA. And then if your income goes up above the threshold in future years, you won't be allowed to make front door contributions, but that's okay. Your account can just continue growing tax-free. The challenge with making Roth IRA contributions is that those limits are pretty low, $6,500 a year or $7,500 if you're over 50. But every little bit helps to boost your balance. Over time, that can add up to significant growth by the time you need to tap the account in retirement. All right, the second way to boost your Roth is to make backdoor Roth IRA contributions. Everyone qualifies to make backdoor Roth IRA contributions from after-tax funds you first contribute to a traditional IRA. You typically make pre-tax contributions to a traditional IRA, right? Well, non-deductible after-tax contributions are also allowed. And it works for high earners because a traditional IRA has no income limit. A Roth IRA is the only retirement account with income limits. So you make a non-deductible or after-tax contribution to a traditional IRA and then roll it over to a Roth. Now, since you pay tax up front on that contribution, no additional tax is due when moved over to a Roth. However, those annual contribution limits, the $6,500 or the $7,500, still apply. So a backdoor Roth is a legitimate way to move small amounts of after-tax money from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, even if you earn too much for front-door contributions. If you put after-tax money in a pre-tax account, you do have to let the government know about it. You've got to file IRS Form 8606 called non-deductible IRAs. That helps keep up with which funds in the account are taxable and which are non-taxable. But you don't owe taxes on backdoor contributions except on any investment growth earned between the time of your non-deductible traditional IRA contribution and the rollover. And if you do it really quickly, like, the same day or the next day or even the same week, your earnings and the resulting income tax should be quite small. However, there is a big backdoor downside if you already have a traditional IRA with pre-tax funds, and it's called the pro rata rule. It requires you to lump all your IRAs together when you make a distribution, and it just doesn't allow you to cherry pick one account to convert. I won't go into a ton of detail here because it gets complicated, but the bottom line is that backdoor Roth contributions work best if you have no pre-tax IRA balances. Otherwise, a portion becomes a taxable conversion based on the percentage of your non-deductible and deductible IRA balances. Now, there is a potential workaround to eliminate this pre-tax conflict if you have a retirement plan at work, like a 401k, that allows incoming rollovers. In theory, you could roll over pre-tax IRA funds into that account at work. Or if you're self-employed, you could move pre-tax IRA money into a SEP IRA or a solo 401k that allows it. As always, speaking to a tax professional or a financial advisor before making any big retirement account moves is best. Get guidance on whether paying taxes now is worthwhile in exchange for those future tax-free Roth benefits. But to sum up here, if you don't have any pre-tax IRA funds, you could move any amount up to the annual contribution limit from a non-deductible IRA for a backdoor Roth IRA contribution without triggering taxes. Okay, I know that gets pretty complicated, but we're going to move on to the third way that you can boost your Roth, and it's a little easier. It is to do Roth IRA conversions. Now, a Roth IRA conversion is different from a contribution because the funds come from a pre-tax source, like a traditional IRA, a traditional 401k, or a SEP IRA, instead of from an after-tax source. So that means doing a Roth conversion triggers income taxes you've got to be prepared to pay. Another difference is that unlike Roth IRA contributions, which come with an income limit, Roth conversions have no income limit. Additionally, Roth conversions have no contribution limit. You can convert as much as you like from traditional to Roth accounts each year, and the IRS will happily take your income taxes no matter how much you earn. For example, let's say you want to convert $50,000 from your traditional IRA to your Roth IRA. Your annual taxable income will increase by $50,000, obviously increasing your tax liability. If you're in the 22% tax bracket, you would owe up to $11,000 on that conversion, and it could be even more if the extra income pushes you into the next higher tax bracket. That's why it's wise to do Roth conversions when you have a lower income year, and even when the value of your investments is down. Many people choose to do conversions in the so-called gap years. This is after you retire and you're earning less, but before your required minimum distributions begin. For many of you, that will be 73, and if you're a little younger, it will be 75. Also, paying taxes on a Roth conversion from a non-retirement account, like a savings or even a brokerage, is best to maximize the amount going to the Roth. Remember that if you're younger than 59 and a half, you can't use those converted funds to pay taxes without paying an additional 10% early withdrawal penalty. Now, everyone's situation and retirement plans are different, so you should seek guidance from a financial advisor or tax professional before converting, because this is really important. You cannot reverse them if you change your mind later on. So you gotta be prepared for that tax bill. Knowing if a Roth conversion is right for your situation depends on many factors, including the expected future benefits for you, a surviving spouse, beneficiaries, or even charities you plan to leave money to. And while you can't be 100% sure, you should be very confident that your tax rate in retirement will be higher than today and that you have the cash to pay federal and any applicable state conversion taxes. I know all of that is a lot to chew on, but if you take anything away from this show, I think I want you to remember that having money in different types of accounts is wise. It's like diversifying your tax strategy. So having some in not only taxable, but tax deferred, and hopefully a lot in tax-free accounts is going to benefit you in retirement. That's all for now. I'll talk to you next week. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Steve Rickyberg with editing by Adam Cecil. Our podcast and advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchins. Our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin. And our intern is Cameron Lacey.